Disclaimer: the video you're about to view is me criticizing someone's top 15. Please do not attack, harass, or threaten the person behind this. If you do so, you're no better than him, if not worse. Here's a video I never thought I would make. So I was scrolling through Facebook, and I discovered a top 15 Need for Speed Games video. I checked it out, and in the end, I'm sure you can already tell how I felt about this list.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit that I have ever
seen. I am dead serious when I say that this is the worst top 15 NFS games I have ever viewed. You'll probably assume that I disagreed with about half of the list, but it's actually worse than that. There may be about a few other lists probably worse, but regardless, let's get into it. Before we start, I should point that his list and my list were both uploaded before Unbound was released. Here's how my score will be decided. Pause the video to look at the whole thing. Okay, now I'm gonna brutalize this shit hard.
What is happening?
The hell was that?
What is happening?
Okay. In the description it says 15 most loved, but in the video it says top 15. So I'm going to refer to this list as top 15. The list starts off good so far, with 15 being Nitro and 14 being The Run.
Have Need for Speed The Run that released in 2011, and it was the first time the franchise had created a story-based adventure.
If you mean, like, an adventure throughout various states, then sure, why not?
You could race across the country with players, and you could explore a vast world.
The United States, not the world. 1.4 Nitro and The Run.
Moving into number 13, we have Need for Speed Heat from 2019.
This entry is where this list begins to go downhill. For one, spoiler alert, 2015 is ranked higher than Heat. We'll get to that later. Let's see how this entry goes.
And this one had incredible visuals, tight driving mechanics, and an open world with car customization for you to explore.
Other titles have that as well.
It was sim-style upgrading and arcade racing style action, and you could also have some pretty intense police chases if you remember.
Other titles also have that too. Here's a couple of things I've said about this game in my list. Heat was a massive improvement over 2015 and Payback. Here had the courtesy to remove the unnecessary microtransactions, and you can choose between driving during the day or during the night. I'm not sure if I brought this up in my list. You can also customize your own character. Heavily disagree with this one. You lost a point.
Moving into number 12, we have Need for Speed Pro Street from...
Would have put Pro Street higher than number 12, but other than that, there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with this entry. However, I somewhat disagree with Pro Street being in this position. Plus 0.5.
Number 11, we have Need for Speed Rivals.
Don't really have anything to say about this because I never played this one. So, 0 points.
Our number 10 spot, we have Need for Speed Undercover that released in 2008. And
Undercover may seem like a decent title, but would I put Undercover in the top 10? No. Another 0.5.
Number 9, we have Need for Speed Carbon, one of my personal favourites.
Nice laggy footage you got there.
Quite similar to Need for Speed Underground, but it allows nitrous oxide, and the driving mechanics were exceptional. I just loved drifting around all those tight corners up in the mountainous ranges.
I was gonna add another 0.5 for Carbon sitting at number 9, but the laggy footage just kills it for me. That's a negative point. I know I said Heat was where the list begins to go downhill, but this is where the list truly becomes dog shit. Take a look at this.
Number 8, we have Need for Speed Hot Pursuit from 2010.
That's not Hot Pursuit. That's clearly 2015. How did you get footage from the wrong game? Don't tell me that he probably hired an editor who made this mistake. Even if that's true, then surely the guy who posted it had to look through the video and realize the errors the editor made before even posting it.
Now this pits players against the police, so you're an outlaw driver in this particular story.
You can also play as a cop to go up against street racers. Did you even play Hot Pursuit? Because it sure as hell doesn't seem like it.
And it's the first game that allowed players to get behind the wheel and genuinely just hit every single corner with the drifts.
Other titles have that too.
Need for Speed 2015.
These two images look almost nothing alike. Just move on to the next entry. I'm taking away 2 points.
In number 6 we have Need for Speed Shift from 2009.
Oh hell no. Shift at number 6? Seriously? You ranked this one better than all of the titles we went through so far. Definitely -1 point.
Jumping into number 5, we have Need for Speed Underground 3.
Need for Speed Underground 3. Never heard of it. I gotta play it someday. Also, this is clearly gameplay from Underground 2. Wrong gameplay. -1.
Number 4, we have Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. That
Hot Pursuit 2 is a pretty good choice, but wouldn't rank it that high.
better open world environments, and it had the finest list of exotic cars that we've probably seen.
I don't think so, but whatever. I just give this a 0.5.
Number 3, we have Need for Speed Most Wanted from 2012.
Freaking how?
It's released on consoles such as Android, iOS, Xbox 360 and more.
You couldn't even be bothered to look up the rest of the consoles this game was released on. But carry on.
With unique tracks and top-notch driving mechanics, it won the VGX award for the best driving game. No surprise, it is in number 3.
I am actually shocked, because Most Wanted 2012 certainly does not deserve to be at the top 3, yet another -1. At this point, I want this bullshit to be over. Let's see what he has for number 1.
Number 1, we have the fantastic Need for Speed Underground 2 that dropped in 2004, full of nostalgia with a career mode at its high point of Need for Speed 2. It was just amazing, and the game had the most customization of any Need for Speed game as of yet, and it is also why it is considered to be the greatest of all time.
Wow, this list does get a happy ending after all. +1. And then the video just stops right here. No thanks for watching. No nothing. So that was the list. Where do I even begin with this? Let's start with the elephant in the room. Where the fuck is Underground 1? Wait a minute. I just realized something. Well, that answers my question. Here's a better question. Where the fucking fuck is Most Wanted 2005? Seriously, you rank 2012 so high, but 2005 is nowhere to be seen. It should be the other way around. Payback is also not in this list. Now at the very least I can understand why, because of some of the flaws about Payback I've mentioned in my top 10. Apart from that, there are other flaws in this list. Not only do I heavily disagree with a bunch of these choices, but this video is awful on a technical level. Laggy footage, incorrect gameplay. There were only 3 entries where I added a full point. From questionable decisions to preventable editing mistakes, the worst top 15 Need for Speed games list I have ever viewed finishes with a final score of -4.5. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter.